Alright, so this is a continuation on the 470W going in the old Bronco. So, I'll show where we left off. We have all the gear tray and the drums in place. We have the overdrive band anchored. You see there? You have to put the servo in to get the band to catch, because it is naturally way out of the way, so it's got to be like right up there to catch the anchor. Then the intermediate clutches can go in, and we can put the pump together and drop it in and carry on with the rest. So, things to note: this is the original overdrive servo. These are not very desirable. It's pretty much the same, other than smaller diameter, to the new replacement. However, this is larger, does not require the sleeve. So this is not going to be used. This is a replacement with the spring. Now, something to keep in mind: this here retains that servo in this bore in the case. Now, something to note: forward clutches on this are applied first, second, and third. Now on overdrive, forward releases and the band comes on. You have to remember that little shaft that splines and mechanically locks the input to the direct drum in the back of the unit. Forward releases. Sometimes on later units you'll get one in, no overdrive, and it'll flare neutral. You click overdrive off, they work fine. What happens most of the time, the snap ring breaks, and the apply fluid will push one of the pieces, and it'll make its way to the valve body, and there's a valve it'll hang, and I'll touch on that when I do the vid on the valve body. So you either order a new snap ring, or the kits we get gives you a new snap ring. So that's that. So I will set the camera up to show overdrive, and would you forget something? Yeah. And it's a bit of a pain in the butt to get indexed. However, once you get it locked and in place, you can do intermediates. I'll see you Sunday.
Thank you, sweetheart.
So, and then the pump can go in. So, that's where we're at. And then I got to try to pick this thing up by myself, put on the bench, and whew, man. I ain't Arnold, but I've been eating a lot of pizza. So, let's see what we can do. So let's see if we can make this visible. So we got to put the servo in there. So let's see if we can make it happen. We obviously, all of this has been, oh, and there's something else too I need to hit on before this goes in, now that I think about it. Almost forgot. So, Sonax. I put Sonax kits in all these. So they give you a different pin and some seals. So the seals one rides there, one rides down there. These will wear the bore inside and leak pressure. This one's not super bad. You can ream it and bushing it. This one ain't that bad. Sonax gives you a different pin with seals and a spacer. So we probably want to do that. Almost forgot. I can't even believe it. Man. So we're going to pop our, as some people call it, Jesus clip. Off here. Alright. So, I'm going to prop this up a little different here to make this little, mo better. Check that out. Alright, so, we're going to take our new pin, which we can see the difference. They're the same length and all. The only difference is the sealing ring grooves. These make decent little punches, so I keep them. Alright, so, oh, come out of there. Bam. Alright. Smaller one goes over the rear. Bam. This one seals in the case. Amazingness. Definitely want to lube these bad boys up. And I need to consult, because I forget where that goes. Where's it at? Ah, there it is. Ah, okay. So, when we look at this, the washer, we can all read there, the tech tip, if a firmer 3/4 is desired, place Sonax washer on pin against shoulder to preload spring. And we want that. So, there is the breakdown. How amazing. So, we're going to do that. So, bam. My camera's doing a bunch of stuff I don't know. It needs to stop. There we go. Of course, I screwed up. The snapper, or the seal, has to be done after the fact. It can't be before the... Okay. Alright. Put the washer on first. Then let's get this on there. And... Ooh. So this has to be compressed enough to get that on there. Sometimes I can do it when I feel very froggy. However, I don't know that today's the time. So, we can do the cheat way, which I'm good with. Bam, look at that. Man. I love cheating. If I can. Alright. So there we go. Man. amazing. So there's our modified Sonax pin. Man, this thing's going to be beautiful. Alright. Now, let's go back to what we were doing. Yeah. So we're looking at this bad boy here. So, this gets interesting at times. There's a lot of tension on that. So, man, I'm almost scared. So it sits on there. This gets interesting. So, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Notice how the pin misses. So you have to hold this overdrive band up so it rests on the pin. You leave it to its own devices, it's out of place. So you have to hold that up as you push that in. That's very important. Oh, man. And you're probably going to hear me cuss a lot because I hate doing these. I think this is one of the worst spots or parts about one of these transmissions. Let's see here. And they make a tool for this. I don't have, because that's too easy. I probably should get one. We do a lot of these, but I don't have one. So, that's how I do it. Right or wrong, it works and works like a charm. You got to put the snap ring in, obviously. So you got to kind of start it in the groove close to where the vice grips are. And what you can do is get a snap ring or a screwdriver there, and let's see. There you go. Totally possible by yourself, but not fun. And I always try to make sure she's seated good. And drum spins. And when you look, she is oriented correctly. Bam. She's hung there and hung there. Look at that. Alright. Let's put some intermediate clutches up in this bad boy. Let's see. That's the best I can do here. Alright. The real thick pressure plate goes in first. Look at this. Used to doing this without stuff in the way, so bear with me. Oh, come on. Alright, bad boy goes down first. Got our clutches soaking here. That's always fun. Put the clutch down. Steel. Clutch down. Steel. Clutch down. And the steel. And the clutch down. And our last steel. So, there's the intermediates, which apply off the pump. So, this is all, we're going to blow through, make sure that we have no debris. And also blow through where the cooler line fittings go, just for the sake, so we can put our pump gasket down in there. Alrighty. Rocking and rolling. Check her out. There's your pump gasket. And this down here is normal. That's just the way they are with that opening. Obviously you can see that lines up. So we need to assemble a pump. So for a pump, the original, this sprag and for intermediate and race broke, and it chewed up. We can see some marks on the stator. It's fine though, no damage where it matters, but it had a chunk that hit the side and cracked it. So this pump is set, seal bushing and all. So obviously we're going to take our gears and put them in the correct fluid. Man, look at that. We can bolt. We already put bushings in the stator as well. So let's see here. So pump on the gears. There is on the inner. You can see a ramp, and then the back side's all flat. You want the flat facing the stator. That ramp chamfer is so the converter hub slides in. So that goes against the bearing or the bushing in the seal. So there you go. There's really nothing to line up. I mean, these things are what they are. Let me get the bolts here. So you basically just center that FORD up in there. I'm gonna cheat here. So the stator has witness marks from obviously being impacted by debris from the transmission when that sprag element let go. Not the end of the world, it's very common. It did not damage anything on the stator, however it did damage the pump, so it's a different pump body and gears, because the gears are kind of funky. Part of the fun. and I torque these by hand. So let me get a ratchet. We'll torque. We'll put the washer. Now these washers are numbered. You can see this one is a 3, if you can see up in that little circle. The higher the number, the thicker. We didn't change anything to change end play, and this unit did work, amazingly enough. So we're reusing. It's still pliable, and it checked fine on disassembly, so we are flying it. Alright, let's see here. You obviously want to alternate. And you can only do that so much because this is the way these are offset. And once I know they're pretty copacetic, I'm just going to hit them all. Man. That's beautiful. Alright, so on the washer there's this little raised area. That coincides with that spot. That's where that index is and holds so it doesn't spin. So, try to keep this son of a gun from rolling now. Struggle be real. Alright. So, our tab goes there. Now we need to put the rings. We have 2 rings for the reverse drum, and we have 2 for the forward clutch drum. Sonax, the SureCure kit, supplies these. Alrighty, so something to note here. On these rings, they supply you with the blue, which are solid, and also the later, which are butt style. Now there are obviously size variances here. And it's subtle, but it's enough to matter. So, I don't know how well you can see the size difference. It's just barely, the blue are bigger. The factories are all cast iron, and or cast, and I almost prefer just to use them regardless. The drums in this are original styles, and no issue on this end at all. And these are some of the toughest rings to seat or to latch because they require so much. So you got to like anchor and walk it around and try to hook it without cutting the hell out of your fingertips. They're super tight. It's kind of something I can't explain. You'll just have to figure out when you do one. It sucks. You'd almost swear they're too small, but they are not. So, oh come on, man, whew, Lordy have mercy. And I think what we're going to do is, like I said, I prefer the steel. So we're going to put this bad boy back together as it should have been. These are definitely some of the toughest seals that are solid, or these style cast that I think you can see. So they're on there. They're in the grooves, rocking and rolling. We got this. Now the intermediate piston applies out of here. Now the hole that applies is right there. And on the piston itself, it's got a little bleed off. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. Little tiny hole. Yeah, you can see it right there. On the opposite side, it's in that. It goes all the way through. You can kind of see the light through it. It's very tiny. You want to offset from the feed hole to that little bitty hole. Yeah, look at this. If you don't believe me, putting the rings on, already bleeding. You got to push so hard and they're so, you know, sharp, it happens. So when you do the pump, putting the intermediate piston in, just the best thing is to offset the hole in this piston from the apply hole. Best thing I can tell you. It does matter, and I've seen it. So let's see here. And this also is like a Turbo 350. There's a piston in the pump that applies intermediate, so if you've done Turbo 350 you'll know. So wider, narrow, wide, narrow, wide, narrow. So both get narrow this way. So we want the skirt in the groove down like so, and make sure she's seated. It is absolutely amazing. Still bleeding. It's fine. Part of me will forever be in this damn Ford transmission. Alright. I do have a sizer I think will work. So we have the seals on. Both the skirts are to the bottom. That goes bam. So let me get my tool and we'll see if we can get that done and get it dropped in. So I bought these sizers for an AOD, and I'm pretty sure the 470W intermediate is the same. Looks like that is affirmative. The rest of the drums are completely different. However, come on now. Oh yeah, we have a go. Alright, so let's get our assembly lube up on our pump here. Both surfaces, as some people say, or surfaces. Alright. Same on the piston. Oh, let's see if we can get this bad boy sat in here. These things are brand new, other than one transmission, and trying to get them started can be a bear and a half, let me tell you. So, there she is. The idea, if done correctly, get our hole offset here. The idea, if done correctly, you can just set it on the edge and it should drop right in. Doesn't mean it will. But sometimes you get a little bit on the lucky side. Alrighty. Did we get lucky?